As a Christian, I have often found myself at odds with the scientific community, and for good reason. While scientists may claim to be objective and unbiased, their worldview is often deeply rooted in a secular, humanistic philosophy. It is fundamentally at odds with Christian teachings. One of the primary reasons I believe Christians cannot trust scientists is that they often operate from a flawed assumption that the natural world is all that exists. This worldview, known as naturalism, posits that everything in the universe can be explained by natural causes and laws, without the need for any supernatural or divine intervention. However, this assumption is not only unproven, but it also flies in the face of the biblical account of creation, which clearly states that the universe was created by a divine being. By starting from this flawed assumption, scientists often miss the most important aspect of reality, the spiritual realm. Another reason I believe Christians cannot trust scientists is that they often prioritize empirical evidence over spiritual truth. While empirical evidence is certainly important, it is limited in its ability to explain the most fundamental questions of human existence, such as the nature of morality, the existence of free will, and the purpose of life. Scientists may claim to be able to explain these phenomena through purely naturalistic means, but their explanations are often reductionist and fail to account for the full complexity and richness of human experience. Furthermore, scientists are not always objective and unbiased in their research. Many scientists are deeply committed to a particular ideological agenda, such as the promotion of evolution or the rejection of biblical creationism. This can lead to a distorted interpretation of data. Scientists may selectively present evidence that supports their preconceived notions while ignoring or dampening evidence that contradicts them. For example, the fossil record is often cited as proof of evolution, but it is also filled with gaps and inconsistencies that are ignored or glossed over by evolutionary scientists. In addition, the scientific community is not always transparent and honest in its dealings. There have been numerous instances of scientific fraud and misconduct, such as the Piltdown scandal, where a fake fossil was presented as evidence of human evolution. There have also been instances of scientists suppressing or distorting data to support their preconceived notions, such as the climate scandal, where climate scientists were found to have manipulated data to support their claims of anthropogenic global warming. Moreover, scientists often fail to acknowledge the limitations of their knowledge and the provisional nature of their theories. They may present their findings as absolute truth, when in fact they are based on incomplete and imperfect data. This can lead to a false sense of certainty and a lack of humility, as scientists may become convinced that they have all the answers and that their theories are infallible. However, the history of science is filled with examples of theories that were once widely accepted, but later proven to be false or incomplete. Finally, I believe that Christians cannot trust scientists because they often promote a worldview that is morally and spiritually bankrupt. The scientific community often promotes a view of humanity as nothing more than evolved animals without any inherent dignity or worth. This can lead to a devaluation of human life and a lack of respect for the sanctity of human existence. For example, the promotion of abortion and euthanasia as legitimate medical practices is a direct result of this worldview, and it is a clear violation of biblical teachings on the value and dignity of human life. In conclusion, as a Christian, I believe that there are many reasons to be skeptical of the scientific community and its findings. While scientists may claim to be objective and unbiased, their worldview is often deeply flawed and at odds with biblical teachings. By prioritizing empirical evidence over spiritual truth, failing to acknowledge the limitations of their knowledge, and promoting a morally and spiritually bankrupt worldview, scientists often fail to provide a complete and accurate picture of reality. As Christians, we must be cautious and discerning when it comes to the claims of scientists, and we must always evaluate their findings in light of biblical truth.